Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We've reached the final game of our first Rumble round robin, and this is essentially the fight for second place. Now, I came into the day thinking it would be between Mad Lions and DWG KIA. It's a matchup that is highly likely to determine who takes second. However, with the fact that PSG Talent just took down RNG, there are now 3 teams vying for that position. We don't have a huge amount of time, so I want to dive straight into the headlines. Carzzy is a monster, and Mad Lions have surprised me with how high their ceiling is, Caedrel.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people's kind of notion on Carzzy after the finals against Rogue, after they got 2v2 killed every single game in that 5-game series, that they might not be the strongest of bot lanes, but they look absolutely dominant so far in MSI. Carzzy just kind of breaking people's ankles mechanically, and I think that he's one of the biggest driving factors behind how Mad Lions get their success. Humanoid, a little bit inconsistent here and there, but Carzzy's definitely been that consistent rock that they needed.
Yeah, he's had big moments, like this River team fight that they had versus PSG, absolutely. The top River team fight that they had versus Cloud9, 100% on his Kai'Sa pick. Like, the patience that he had at this moment. And then the re-engage from Galio, being able, we're going to be seeing it soon, to flash out of it instantly. And then just take his pick of the litter and reset. I think he's been playing fantastically this tournament.
It looks so easy when you look at it from Carzzy's perspective, but this is crazy good performance. It's allowed Mad Lions to pick up a number of wins, and opposite him on the Rift is going to be BeryL, a player who domestically was game-changing, was huge. But Raz, I feel like BeryL is underperforming to the ability he has to play.
Yeah, because we remember as internationally, it's BeryL and Ghost 2v2 Kingdom. But when it's come to this tournament, you know, he hasn't been shining. The Tahm Kench game was a poor one from him. And then on a Sett game, getting picked off time and again. Like, even though this team has been performing, it's not at the World Championship level that we know them for.
Yeah, definitely. And support being so important in the meta, he needs to step it up. And I won't attribute it to an individual performance from him. Yes, he's getting caught out a lot, but I think there's probably some communication issues going on in DWG as far as I can see, just not meshing up with Canyon well. He's like fake pressuring on his own too much on the wrong side of the map. And yeah, I think it must be a communication issue in DWG.
I mean, it's also something that attributes some of the bad team fighting we're seeing from DWG, because we're seeing individual mistakes really across the board. Each player has been surprising at times, but also as we get to the mid-game and late game, DWG seem to be falling apart. As we don't have a huge amount of time, I am going to ask for some predictions. Let's start with Raz. Who wins today and why, as we will see some of these plays?
I'm known as a bit of a flip-flopper, so even though I had a lot of chips on the dumb one, I'm going to go straight towards Mad Lions. Their team fighting has been really good so far, and I'm going to put a bet on them.
Yeah, DWG look really vulnerable right now. I would definitely put my prediction on Mad Lions as well. Hopefully they can bring it home for the boys in Europe, but this is definitely the battle for second place.
I mean, it is a battle for second place. Of course, PSG Talent picking up a win. That conversation will get more interesting.
Oh, Cloud9 shaking.
And this is the last game in the first round robin. So we will have a post-match after this, discuss what the group stage looks like as we enter the second round robin. And we will leave it to Chronicler and the birthday boy, Atlus. Now, happy birthday, Atlus. You may or may not know this, but in Germany, if it is your birthday and you go out with all of your friends and you're hanging out, it's actually your responsibility to pay for the drinks. So by that logic, you're going to give us a Mad Lions win, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know whether that counts as drinks, but if that's what it is, then I guess I have to. I guess that's how it works. I don't know how you managed to get Game of League of Legends out of a drink, but there we go. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MSI Caster Desk yet again. It is indeed my birthday, and unfortunately for those over in Berlin, we are DWG fans, so I'm going to put all my birthday energy into South Korea to hopefully balance things out as we hop into Champion Select here. As DWG KIA banning away the Thresh already, and the Mad Lions, let's see what they answer with. And I think I have to agree with Caedrel, Chronicler. Mad just looking a little bit cleaner than DWG right now. Something I wasn't expecting to be talking about at all during this tournament.
And this is the moment for DWG to show up, right? Because while the win score 3-1 seems good on paper, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Coming into this game, I think Mad Lions look a lot stronger. Some of their inconsistencies that we saw in the first group stage have seemingly evaporated. They are playing a lot more cohesively. Their team fights have been insane. Some of the liabilities, like Carzzy being a bit more up and down, has turned into Carzzy just being up, which in of itself is terrifying. And as a whole, I think Mad Lions are coming into this game very confident, whereas DWG KIA, we've talked about their weaknesses a lot, and it feels like they're even more overpronounced now on the international stage, and it doesn't feel like the team that we saw win the LCK Summer, and we keep waiting for them to flip, but it's possible, especially if Mad take a dominant win here, that team just isn't in right now.
Yeah. I might have just taken a bit of a vacation. Absolutely not what you want. And this, I expect to kind of be the time where Damwon turns things around, to be perfectly honest. Like, this is a team that doesn't necessarily step up until they absolutely need to. This is something that I was trying to convince you of throughout the entire playoffs. They're just a team that does tend to understand exactly when to turn it on. Well, Damwon, I think I'd probably start roundabout now. Seems like a good time. And the Kai'Sa first pick is where they're going to land. Of course, RNG did this in just the last game, and they were punished for it. Let's see whether the punishment is going to continue here, as it looks like Elyoya is going to head towards, the Nautilus pickup, and then the Udyr. As the tier list of jungler, I wasn't going to put Udyr at the very top of it at the beginning of the tournament, but now it's looking like he's pretty much a mainstay.
Yeah, it's going to be Morgana, 100% for Canyon. I think Canyon's Rumble hasn't looked amazing. Whereas his Morgana, I think, in terms of the amount of pressure that he's able to generate has been great. There's been some questionable plays, but that has just been DWG KIA as a whole. And I'm hoping that this is a flex pick, because Khan has had his inconsistencies, but ShowMaker on a mobile AD assassin would make me very, very happy. I do really love this Nautilus pickup, and we're seeing this more and more. The Kai'Sa has really risen in priority over the course of this tournament, and that Kai'Sa Nautilus is literally the most straightforward plug-and-play bot lane that you can possibly have, where you can leverage leads, you can find prior, you can basically do anything with it. So happy that it's taken away. I think for Elyoya specifically, I like him more on the Udyr than on the Morgana, because I think the Udyr really enables him to go for those early game power plays that I think he's been really impressive in.
Yep.
As we get the Gnar ban, possible Silas ban, although with the Gnar banned away, it might not be as high up the prio list. And I think playing into both a Silas and a Lee Sin would make me very scared, because that means it's a very do or die. But you have faith in DWG KIA, and it is after all your birthday, so let's hope that that comes to fruition. As the Alistair also taken away, incredibly strong with the Kai'Sa, not necessarily as good. And this means BeryL's champion pool is actually going to get tapped, and with Senna he has a lot of depth, but without it this might be a bit of an awkward position for DWG KIA here.
Yeah, I actually quite like the Trist bottom lane, especially after what we just saw, and I'd like to correct you just a little bit. It's not that I think that Damwon are going to win. I actually think that Mad have put themselves in a better position in this tournament thus far for that prediction. However, you know, a boy can dream on his birthday.
My bad, my bad.
That's what I'm going for here. Is the Orianna is going to be the final ban here, and the 5th for DWG KIA, getting rid of that from Humanoid's wheelhouse. Of course, does have the Viktor if he wants to go towards something very standard there in the mid lane, and that will be locked away. When it comes to blind picks, it is a pretty comfy one, as REL being banned shows that we are well and truly getting towards the dregs of the support champion pool.
It could be looking towards a Gragas.
Are we playing support Morgana?
Support Morgana is a possibility. Support Rumble is also we've seen, even within the LCK. It's not very likely, I'd personally say, as this would make a lot of sense in terms of comfort for ShowMaker. It's a pick that he can get so much done off. The early prior that he will be able to leverage is going to be great. And that Morgana-Zoe combo, we've already seen in the last game how threatening that can really be. This would mean, however, though, the Sett, and with the performance of BeryL thus far, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think we've seen things like the Gragas support come up, especially in the LCK from time to time, but it will be the Sett, and I'm not loving it into the Nautilus, into the Tristana that can just bust a shot you away, into a Viktor. It's possible, but it's hard to make work.
Yeah, I actually kind of liked the idea of flexing the Morgana. It is a lane that has been played in the past. However, she is just extraordinarily strong in the jungle, and Canyon is going to hold on to it. As now we have that 5th pick, it's of course over to Armut to pick that one up if he would like, and it is going to be the Shen locked away into Khan's Lee Sin. We didn't talk about this, of course. Khan, certainly a Scion abuser there towards the top side of the map, but he has been playing so much Lee Sin, it is ridiculous in solo queue. Hasn't exactly been having the best time if you've had a look at some social media of Khan complaining about EU West, but he doesn't play over there all that often, so he's not really used to it just yet. But I like the Shen pick here from Mad. Gives them a lot of more global options, and also doesn't lane too badly towards Lee Sin. Will get shoved in, especially with the buff to the E, but still should be pretty capable of just chilling out towards the top side and then stand uniting whenever he would like.
It's really nice to negate the passive, right, of the Lee Sin, and that is a substantial part of his damage. As you said, I think it's still going to be prio for Khan. I still think he has a lot more threat in that lane than Armut will. But the Spirit's Refuge does provide you with a lot of safety. Lee Sin trying to weave in as many orders as he can with the extra attack speed, and that's not going to be a possibility. As a whole, though, I really like the Mad draft. I think it's very stable in case that DWG KIA are going to try and play for side lanes. You have the Shen, which just provides such a reliable and consistent way to answer that without really putting yourself at risk. And as a whole, this is feeling like a feast or famine comp for DWG KIA.
Yeah.
And thus far, it's been more famine than feast for them.
It has. They have had some of their games that have looked very dominant. This is a composition that needs to have another one of them if they're going to win, right? This is what, it's very similar to what PSG put together in game number one, game number 2 of the day, when they were able to take down RNG. But they did it by keeping their foot on the accelerator the entire game long. DWG KIA need to do exactly the same thing. And I think a lot of it is going to come from the bottom side of the map. Remember, the Tristana was on the other side of the rift for that comp, and actually felt like it worked very, very well, transitioning from early to mid to late game, utilizing the power of Trist where it lies, right?
And one of the problems that DWG KIA is going to run into is that they want to skirmish post-6, right? Because, yeah, as I said before, you want to play for objectives, you want to get the early Heralds, the early Drakes, you want to try and get plates. But the problem is that once you're online, you're faced with 2 problems. One, it's not like the Mad comp can't fight early. Tristana, Nautilus, and Udyr still provide you with a lot of CC blow-up potential, a snowballing if the fight doesn't go 100% correct, and Carzzy is able to just jump back and forth. We've seen him do a lot, and that's where the Shen pick comes in. Because the moment Armut hits 6, as DWG KIA, you're still forced to go aggressive, but you need to do so while taking into account the stand united, and that's something that is a very rough line to balance, and it's not something that DWG KIA, even when they looked at their best, have looked the strongest in, right? It's been the team fighting, it's been the macro, it's been the late game decision making. So coming into this game, Mad Lions must be feeling pretty good.
Yep, and this is another one of these DWG KIA drafts that doesn't feel entirely cohesive, right? Feels a little bit on the fly, as we do have the Facebreaker early. Carzzy burning down, as Kaiser will find a bit of extra CC to keep his Tristana alive. Good start this time for the DWG KIA bottom lane, and they need to keep this up.
Crucial there is that Ghost doesn't use his flash, so that means he has a lot more offensive capabilities. Didn't get greedy for the final plasma proc there, which would have been a big chunk on Carzzy, but also created a situation in which he would be a lot more vulnerable. So DWG KIA applying pressure, but still not playing it too risky.
Yep, well, Bubble going to connect here. ShowMaker in the mid lane as Humanoid gets taken down to about half, but the trading is actually going pretty fine for both of these mid laners. And Khan is, of course, going to get the shove into the Shen in the early stage. We mentioned this. This is going to be DWG KIA playing with a lot of priority as Elyoya looking to try and get the flash out of ShowMaker here. Flashes forward for the stun, actually, is ShowMaker down to 100. Oh, there's the flash in from Humanoid for the first blood, and it's a great start for the Mad Lions.
And we have more action in the bot lane here.
Yep, Ghost looking for it onto Kaiser. Does proc the plasma that time around, but in the end, BeryL going to suffer a little bit more, but otherwise, DWG KIA is still okay.
Gonna be a heal and an ignite used, and ShowMaker, I'm not sure why he waited that long with using his flash. I think he thought maybe a Canyon could path towards him who was in the general vicinity, or thought he could stay alive for a little bit longer there. But feel like if he just flashes there right from the get-go, doesn't greed, goes into the fog, there's not really a lot that you can do as Mad, because you need to respect Canyon. And that's not a great start, right? This is, ShowMaker has been one of the players, as we see here in the Neo X Effect replay, that has actually been kind of the fundament rather for DWG.
Yeah,
he's been the consistent play, and giving up a kill early to Humanoid is going to make that lane much more comfortable for the Viktor that is just looking to chill, shove out waves, and get to a point where he gets 1-2 items and starts carrying team fights.
Yeah, not a lot of pressure on Humanoid here to perform in the early game whatsoever, and already he has first blood. So that's working out very nicely as Kaiser is going to be able to find himself a dredge line. Ghost is going to use that flash from earlier, as that's a very long-range Facebreaker. Haymaker gets a bit of follow-up damage. Kaiser is going to keep himself safe, though. But this is, it's getting pretty aggressive here towards the bottom side.
He's still available. Greedy from Ghost there. I get the will to try and get the cancel. On the other hand, keeping them in the lane, I think, is good with the heal advantage, combined with the fact that you're already building up a CS lead. Mad are really looking to kind of back, you know, get their items, get their health back up full. But it's also something that's really risky as Damwon Kia, because if Kaiser hits a hook and Carzzy jumps on top of you, Ghost will still die, through heal or not. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, precisely. So now that that flash is down, does mean that the all-in potential certainly going to be very strong from Mad. The Udyr, though, trying to catch back up after spending a bit of extra time finding that kill in the early game. It did mean that Canyon was able to rocket ahead. Couple of camps in the lead right now, make that 3, as Elyoya has ran out of options around his side. And now Dragon's going to come through, but here's another face breaker. Carzzy taking a lot of damage, Haymaker for a lot as well, as the Ignite's now ticking down. The last tick will do it, and BeryL picks up the kill in the end. All of the aggression finally paying off, but Elyoya is sticking around, wants to get some revenge for the bottom lane here. What are they going to pick? Because that's a great face breaker, as now Ghost trying to get some damage back. Haymaker onto Elyoya. Ghost will be taken down though, but Khan will eat through Kaiser, and it's a 1-for-1 in the end, but teleport had to be invested from Damwon Kia.
And that means any subsequent play coming in from Armut is going to be a lot more potent, but in the end, it's a trade that I think is beneficial for Damwon Kia. They're able to get the shove in, deny more CS to Carzzy, who's now level 3 against Ghost, level 4, will now just ding it off the wave, but is falling pretty decently behind, and I think that that is one of the avenues that Damwon Kia also need to utilize. Humanoid freezing the wave here, and I think as a whole, Mad Lions are playing really nicely around punishing Damwon, knowing that Damwon has to play forward, has to play aggressive, has to look for plays, and try to counteract that with how they place their waves and how Elyoya is moving around the map.
Well, Canyon is going to be able to find himself a binding on to Kaiser, but he's also going to fall asleep, but he'll be able to make it back underneath the turret just fine. And as you were talking about, right, like, this is not changing the state of the game almost one iota when it comes to the gold or anything like that. As we have a look at the replay, Carzzy just burning down, had to watch as the poor little Tristana falls.
And then here you have again the punish coming in. Ghost and BeryL, I think you already have the shove there. I don't think you actually need to go that far forward. The teleport gives them a sense of security, but still giving up Ghost there isn't the greatest of feeling. Don't really think it's necessary. BeryL picking up the second kill there was interesting as well, because I would have much rather seen it gone to Khan, as it would leverage him ahead, and I think the Lee Sin uses the gold a lot better. Because as we saw in last game, the currently Sin build, Lee Sin top, actually skills decently well, right? Yeah, you'll never be a late-game character, but you could see that, especially if you find some early-game prowess, the Lee Sin can actually decently tank, you can make a lot of plays, you're pretty beefy.
And the E does so much damage if you get to a backline as well. It's actually ridiculous.
It's a lot. And it's one of the reasons why we see him be one of the more heavily prioritized solo laners. Go back to the game that Damwon Kia lost against C9, where it was the first pick lead for Fudge that proved to be pivotal. And now, this early game, it's a small lead, but it's not really enough. Damwon Kia, they need to get more... they need to get more Drakes, they need to get more pressure, because if they don't, I feel like Mad Lions should hang back, scale up, you know, Carzzy's going to get more range, Humanoid's going to feel fine, and then in mid to late game team fights, sure, Shen is not a straight up tank like something like a Sion would be, but he can still provide so much security. The taunt is super threatening and provides really nice lockdown, and just the damage of Humanoid and Carzzy, if you buy them a little bit of time, is going to be absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. The onus definitely not on Mad to make stuff happen. Dredgeline, though, is still going to come on forward here from Kaiser. Does just spot BeryL out of position. And will just get a bit of damage there as BeryL just going to use that facebreaker on the wave. We'll see whether Damwon Kia are going to be able to get towards this Drake, because right now it looks like Mad have so much control of that area, even with Canyon on the bottom side. And you can see Control Ward in that brush. Canyon just going to be taking his red, and this is going to be the Drake just going over to Mad, seemingly for free. Yeah, all too easy.
I think this is okay if you get Herald. If you secure Herald here as Damwon Kia, and you can turn it into a sizable gold lead, I think you'll take that for the early game. While I think Drake stacking is something that you can opt into, Damwon Kia as a whole have really been favoring Herald, generally. And just injecting gold into yourself, making sure you hit those item spikes early, is still a reliable way to get ahead, right? It's just, I feel like it's a little bit less consistent, it's a little bit riskier, because just a single Drake buys Mad 5 more minutes if they do fall hugely behind. And it's not something that, as Damwon Kia, you're going to be really happy about. However, if you can get a dive, if you can get a gank, and with a Sett roaming around as BeryL's moving in the general bot lane vicinity of the map, maybe if you can find someone, blow them up, and then get a little bit of time with the turret with the Herald, you can break that open, and that's when Damwon Kia should start to get rolling. But as we've already said a couple of times, that moment needs to come within now in the next, say, 5 minutes. Otherwise, I feel like Mad can just slow down to the extent that teamfights are going to keep him hard. And they're not impossible for DWG KIA, right? Because if someone oversteps in the side lane, if someone gets caught by a bubble or a binding or a kick, then there's still possibilities, but it just becomes so much harder. And Mad have been looking so good in that mid to late game, mid-game especially, which is such a big difference from how they looked in the first group stage.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that their consistency, especially as we transitioned into the Rumble stage, has just really, really tidied itself up. It's very, very nice to see from the European representatives. Q's going to miss there from Khan, but he's just continually shoving waves towards Armut over and over again. The Shen's certainly very durable, though, and is just comfortably chilling underneath this turret, as Khan is going to take a bit of damage there from the Shen. As, like you were saying, Spirit's Refuge pretty strong at denying Khan all of that extra CDR and things like that, all the attack speed.
And I want to see DWG KIA try and make some plays. I think bot lane is looking like a good avenue.
Ooh.
As
That's some reaction time there from Carzzy.
That's really good. But it does mean the flash is gone, and that means that any subsequent hack flash play can possibly create an opening. ShowMaker, though.
Yeah, he's going to get stunned up. There's the Chaos Storm, as Elyoya does have flash available, but they decide not to go underneath the turret. They're just pressuring ShowMaker out of the lane as best they can.
There's no objective, though, so I think this doesn't really get that much done. It's also not an actual heal. It's a spellbook heal.
Yep.
So nice attempt from Mad. But even if this isn't successful as Mad, if you just force ShowMaker to back, that means ShowMaker isn't roaming bot. That means ShowMaker isn't roaming top, right? That he isn't making plays out on the map, getting himself or his teammates ahead. And that's already a win for you as the Mad Lions. I'd personally say opening on top side might be possible, though no one near, but Humanoid does have the teleport available.
Yep, Elyoya is spotted on the bottom side of the map, so this is likely where that Rift Herald play is going to happen. As you can see on your screen, Canyon puts it down, but Mad here with the extra pressure on the bottom lane, and Ghost and BeryL decide that they want to sit here and fight. This is going to be 2 versus 4 underneath this turret, unless ShowMaker can get back in time, and he does have teleport available. Mad understand that, and they're not going to bite off more than they can chew, as it looks like Shelly is going to grab herself another charge.
And this is really good for DWG KIA, exactly what they needed to do, and this is starting to feel more reminiscent of the DWG KIA we're used to seeing. They don't get their early leads through kills, they get it just through lane pressure, through picking up plates, picking up CS leads, and using the Heralds aggressively. Khan needs to make sure that he doesn't die here, though.
He does have a blast cone available as, okay, it's not going to do anything at all. Just manages to get all the way up into the sky, which is not what he wants, as there's the kickback, but the taunt's too good, and that is going to be Khan caught out of position. I thought there might have been an avenue to safety there, but Khan did not quite find it.
I feel like if you flash over the wall there, sure, Elyoya is there, but he tried to get to Kane as soon as he could. These are exactly the type of kills you can't afford to give up as DWG KIA, right? You want to keep your pressure up, you want to be able to continuously deny anything from Mad, keep them on the back foot, pick up that next dragon, and giving up random kills like this just going to put gold in the pockets of a team that has been performing really well even without early game leads. And if I look at the item completions, I think DWG KIA are going to be looking at maybe the Everfrost finished. We now see Khan does have his Gore Drinker available. These first item spikes need to be hit as they go into this dragon fight, because while the first dragon I think was okay to give up, I do not want to see them give the second one up, because that is the point where Mad are just one Drake away from soul point, and with a teamfight comp with so much hard engage like this, and a way to reliably deal with split push as well, it's a really big risk to go into.
Yep, I think it's a little bit too scary. 100% agree with you, as ShowMaker is just going to clean up this mid-wave, deny the cannon first. Very nicely done. And yeah, we do have 15 seconds until that Infernal Drake is going to spawn. Ocean and Cloud are going to be our 2 options this game for our souls. And Humanoid teleports back to the mid lane. It looks like Mad are going to start setting up around the area with Elyoya moving down. Does show that it will be this Drake that's going to be the focus for Mad. Control Wall goes into the back of the pit, though, and this time, as you mentioned, DWG KIA not going to give it up without a fight, as now BeryL moving on down. Elyoya is in position. DWG KIA know it, as there's the showstopper. Kaiser is going to be the option. Moved on back. Stand United coming on in, though. The teleport as well, as DWG KIA do bring everyone towards the bottom side, as Carzzy's caught off from the rest of his team. But Mad setting up the phalanx now, and will be absolutely fine.
And this is the position you want to be in as Mad KIA need to find a great team fight here if they want to contest this Drake.
Yeah, Ghost just trying to clear out the minion wave as best he can. You can see health bar starting to go down lower as ShowMaker over the side finds the bubble, as you can see. As Carzzy does have a little bit of a nap in the brush, but he's going to be safe. And the Drake now down to about half health. Khan moving on into the pit, slightly away from the rest of his team. Safeguard going to get him to safety. BeryL just running into the enemy team and dying. Not what you want, but Binding will connect here as Mad Lions. Their health bars are slowly but surely going down lower, but now Ghost into the backline. That's not where you want to go. Flashes out now as Khan is going to take matters into his own hands alongside Canyon. And you can see Carzzy, he's down to about no health now. Mad Lions were trying to dance the dance, but DWG KIA do it just that little bit better.
And it's on the knife's edge. Carzzy barely alive. Kaiser barely alive. And I thought that was going to go the way of Mad Lions. And here you see, with this composition, one thing that DWG KIA has bought themselves, even though that was an extremely questionable play from BeryL, is that the outplay potential with the champion is there. If Zoe can just keep throwing bubbles, if Khan can find openings, even Ghost, with what looked like, again, straight up just getting killed, is able to just barely stay alive with a combined Killer Instinct and Flash. But if it's already looking this rough for DWG KIA, and this is for just one Drake, I think this game is going to go the distance, and that might mean that we get more of these incredibly close fights.
Yeah, I feel like fights like this get more and more mad favored as the game goes on, assuming no ridiculous gold advantages and things like that. So as we have a look at this one more time, DWG KIA, it was very weird in a lot of ways. But in the end, you know, the Canyon flash in with the classic Morgana play was enough.
It was just a bait. We're going to go with that one. It was just a bait from Ghost, okay? That's the only way where you can look at that play and be okay with that, because it feels like Mad has control of the team fight. They slightly overextend into a Canyon that then flashes forward and goes for his shackles.
Yep.
And that is really what seals that fight, combined with Khan's actually ridiculous AoE damage. You already pointed it out, but like those ground slaps really hurt. And Carzzy getting taken low, some of the poke from the Zoe coming through, some of the poke from the Tormented Soy coming through, and that creates a situation in which Mad can't actually fight. Now the 3k gold lead, it's starting to approach that critical breakpoint, right? At 60 minutes, that's good. It's not quite enough. So Mad still holding on, DWG KIA still looking for plays, and they might go towards Shirley.
Yeah, it is still looking like DWG KIA have enough control for now. Still not something you're going to be very happy about as an LCK fan. The Mad Lions still certainly with options here. But I think, like you were saying, Shirley, it is going to be on the cards here. DWG KIA like to break down turrets as quickly as they possibly can. So far, they've only taken one on that top side, and that was with the help of the first Herald. So likely that they're going to look to that again. But you can see Elyoya, he's already there, and looks to be trying to take this one down before DWG can get into position.
The setup is so beautiful here from Mad, because they shove the bot lane out. Armut, of course, has the Sand Unite available, but Khan doesn't have teleport. So there's no way for DWG KIA to contest this. Like, they just can't get into the river, they can't get into this objective, even if they had vision, because you will always be fighting at a deficit. And so they need to give up this Rift Herald. And second Herald, you know, surely not quite as pivotal as Shelly is, but it's still something that you'd like to have as DWG KIA, because it can any push that you find much more oomph.
And also, the more map control you have with a composition like this, absolutely far more happy you're going to be moving into a mid-game. Yeah, far more better. First language Australian. There we go. As the outer turret does fall in that mid lane, the Zoe turret, as our friend Wolf likes to call it so often on the LCK broadcast. This is absolutely what you want if you are DWG KIA, as Khan's going to do the same thing towards the bottom side, and that is going to be more of an injection of gold into DWG KIA. 4,000 now. You're not 100% happy yet if you're a DWG fan, but still, it's looking like it's working, as the Mad Lions still just sitting back, chilling. I feel like when there is going to be that play, though, when Armut finds the target to jump on top of and then turn things around, I feel like I can feel Mad waiting, biding their time.
Look at Khan and BeryL.
Yeah, BeryL coming in from the back. There's the showstopper to bring Carzzy forward, as Shirley is going to be diving in as well. BeryL's going to make it out. You can see Khan looking for the kick in the back line. The taunt's too good, though, as Khan has to safeguard to safety. Good knock up there onto Humanoid, as now Canyon going golden. Kaiser likely going to get stunned. Elyoya breaks the chains, though, and Kaiser does the same thing. No full-on engage has actually happened yet, and Mad are just going to walk on out.
Oh, this is such a tight match. Atlus, both teams are just continuously looking for positioning. Humanoid forced a flash there.
That was like, he dodged everything so well until he realized that the bubble was going to be on top of him. Oh, man.
I think he could have sidestepped the bubble, but then you're just standing there, and then they just walk up to you.
Yeah, no, exactly. You need to then walk through it, and then he'd still have to flash.
Oh, man, what a tense game here. And this is, again, this is the miscommunications that we see from Damwon. That engage from BeryL is really good if there's follow-up, but there's none. And the fact that they can actually out-execute this, that Khan doesn't die there, sure, that all goes well, but this can never be the type of play that you're looking for. Mad Lions really well tries to capitalize on what is a very asynchronized engage coming through from Damwon KIA here, and are also able to just stall the game. And yet again, stalling is the name of the game for Mad Lions. We are getting closer and closer to Carzzy hitting a second item, Humanoid hitting a second item. As long as you can hit those timers, you're going to feel so much more comfortable going into any subsequent fight, because it means that there's health bars from Damwon KIA that now are every time like within 10%, they're just gone. They're just dead.
And Damwon can't then move towards the, oh, well, we'll just split the map and try and go for split push, because Shen exists. And Shen is so good at saying absolutely no to that type of win condition. Damwon should be able to grab themselves this Ocean Drake pretty comfortably, as you can see. Mad not interested in that part of the map whatsoever. Baron's been alive for 20 seconds, so congratulations to Baron for making his way over here, but looks like that's not going to be on the cards for the next little while, especially not with Mad playing this game so patiently for now.
And they don't really need to do more. Damwon KIA, and this is where the big win of that early game comes in, where they were able to pick up the Drake, and we pointed it out earlier on. And this is where you actually reap the benefits, because you don't have to fight for that next Drake. Sure, Soul Point is a bit scary, especially with Ocean Soul, which is just, it gives Damwon KIA a lot more consistency in these fights, because they can just reliably poke and not be too afraid. And something that might be a problem for Mad is that if Damwon KIA actually take control of the map, it's just Kaiser, right? And while the Nautilus engage is good, it's also fairly telegraphed. That might become a little bit of a problem, because you know Damwon KIA, they want to set up and just poke with Void Seekers, with Trouble Bubbles. And if you have an Ocean Soul, that becomes much more threatening. But due to that early Drake that Elyoya was able to pick up, with a complete lack of vision on the bot side from Damwon KIA, they can now just say, you know, in 4 minutes, we won't fight. We're just going to wait for just a little bit more power in our composition, and then we go for the all-out team fight. We win that, we get Baron, and we end this game basically immediately.
Well, we'll see whether they can actually make that one work, because like you say, it does certainly feel like Mad biding their time, waiting for their moment. Bottom side of the map, though, Khan did manage to push in another wave. Damwon KIA just doing their homework right now, making sure that everything is in the right position. BeryL sweeping on through, but won't be able to find all of these wards, as that sweeper is now on cooldown. Damwon KIA, can they extend this gold lead further? Because honestly, like, it was at about 4K, like, what, 10 minutes ago? Something like that. I mean, the initial plays from Damwon were good. The extra plates they were able to get with the help of Shelly was very good. But the extension of this lead, something that Damwon used to be so good at, which was perpetually adding advantage after advantage, has not been happening. And I'm not attributing that to Damwon KIA not looking like they used to be. This is Mad cutting losses really beautifully around the map.
On the upside for Damwon KIA, I think that Carzzy, now that look is actually decently far away, so the continuous pressure on bot side from Damwon KIA and Ghost and BeryL, even though BeryL, you know, at that one death and at that engage, it didn't look very good, has still been able to like put Carzzy on the back foot to the point where I think it's really going to be 10, 15 more minutes, unless he finds a couple of kills, for him to really come up big. And with how dominant that bot lane has been looking for Mad, I think that not being online might actually be a little bit of a problem. Of course, Humanoid with the Ludens and the Banshees will still have a lot of damage, but I think Damwon KIA have already shown that these are not going to be straight up team fights. It's going to be very pulled apart skirmishes. They try and deny you any opportunity to actually fight you in a choke, because once the space is there, Damwon KIA can actually blow up targets in seconds.
You can say Elyoya actually denied his wolf camp. I believe the Gromp has been taken by Khan almost every single spawn for the last 3, or something like that. Certainly being able to add a fair bit of pressure, but these are not exactly the big leads that you're looking for. As here on our Verizon 5G all chat, you can send us all of your tweets if you would like to, and we can read them out on the broadcast here as well. And possibly you could let me know how you're feeling about this particular game, because Damwon KIA, they're winning, but it's not feeling like they're winning enough just yet. And Mad still waiting for that opportunity to make this composition come online. Slowly but surely, Carzzy's getting levels. Slowly but surely, Armut's getting tankier and tankier to be that full-on frontline that Damwon KIA don't really have. Oh, okay, we're looking for it. Humanoid gonna get taken down to about half as gravity field's pretty good, and eventually the flash has to be invested. But it's just the flash, as Khan also had to put his into the mix as well.
Yeah, it's a flash for flash trade. I think the flash on Lee Sin, obviously less valuable than the one on Humanoid. Humanoid is a Viktor who does not have any mobility built in, whereas Khan is Lee Sin, who we've already seen can escape from honestly comedic situations. Looking at that mid lane scuffle earlier.
Does take away from Khan's pick potential quite a lot though.
That is true.
Because kick flash is very, very important, and if you're going to go in, like, you need to get the rocket jump, you need to get the flash, you need to get a lot of things on that checklist to try and kill the Tristana, and now it's on BeryL to try and do almost all of it himself. Of course, Showstopper very powerful. Is Humanoid going to take a bit of puddle damage? And yeah, I absolutely agree, Tom Sonic. These team fights are absolutely extraordinarily close.
I'd find it hard to quantify exactly how close, but they are very, extremely.
Is very going to be your metric?
I would like more time to think about it, but I don't think you're giving me any, and I don't think this game is giving me any. This is a pivotal breakpoint. You need to get this Drake as Damwon KIA is mad. If you can win the fight here, it might just be what gets you definitely ahead in this game.
Well, Armut's going to teleport in to make sure that the 5 are set up immediately. Stand United, of course, available, not available, as of course it was used on top of Humanoid earlier. That's something that I actually missed, as I did think that Humanoid's shield from his Q is a little bit larger than it should have been, so I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be a trade of the Drake for the outer turret in mid lane. Oh my goodness, that bubble was so close. The Carzzy's going to be able to move out of the way of it. The Dark Binding not quite long enough either, as Damwon KIA, you can see they're looking for it, looking for an opportunity. Not able to quite find it here, as Mad are just keeping themselves together. Now, it is going to be Damwon KIA able to push up towards this inner turret. Vision going on over, Q going to miss there from Khan. As the rest of Mad now wrapping on around. Not a lot of vision here for Damwon KIA, as finally that control ward going to be taken down. Armut not able to find the taunt onto BeryL. He's going to walk his way out of this one, and once again it's a tightrope. Oh my goodness.
It's an LCK style back and forth, that's for sure, if you look at the kill score here. It's low, it's high action, high stakes, but low actual kills. And that's because both these teams know that for Mad, one misstep is the end of the game, and that's why they don't go for that ocean there, right? You know you have the time, it's just soul point, just try and get to those next item benchmarks. Whereas on the side of Damwon KIA, they also know we can't hard force. If we hard force and we blow the fight here, our lead is gone, and then this game's become exponentially more difficult.
Well, Canyon looking for a binding, finds it pretty comfortably there. Is okay, Khan says goodbye to Carzzy, and that might be the pick that's going to start things for Damwon KIA. However, just one may not necessarily be enough. They are still heading over towards this Baron, and my goodness, the jungle is so dark for the Mad Lions.
And I think they can just do it. Ghost, at this point, Kaiser goes through these objectives so fast.
Oh my, it just popped. Absolutely nothing that they could do. Elyoya walked on over. I don't even think he really understood what was happening. And then all of a sudden, Baron yells, and Damwon KIA managed to get a big old buff. So have a look at that Red Bull Baron power play to see how much further ahead Damwon KIA can get, because it's not all over yet. However, that one pick and that transition into a Baron might just be the beginning of nails into this coffin.
This is one of the most LCK stuff. This is old school LCK, right? Where people are complaining, there's not enough kills, there's not enough action, where are my explosions? But this is both teams recognizing how little space they really get. Now with this Baron, Damwon KIA is going to be able to actually get the shove, and that's going to provide so much more opportunities for ShowMaker to get damage done, for them to move up with relative safety, although they need to be a little bit careful. Kaiser is maybe looking for an engage here. Armut has the Stand United available.
Yeah, they were trying to make sure that Carzzy looked as tasty as possible at that instance, as we saw. Damwon KIA not going to take the bait though, as Armut does get that wave shoved in, like you're talking about, towards the bottom side of the map. Khan doing the same thing on top side. And this is the siege. Should be that they'll be able to grab that top inner at the same time. That's going to be the first couple of turrets to add to that power play. As Mad setting up a little bit of a gank brush. BeryL gets the ward on over, and the jig is up. Mad Lions positioning absolutely known. The red buff is going to be secured by ShowMaker. For some reason, I believe he smoked that with a smite that he picked up on the ground earlier. May as well give it to you, Zoe.
Yeah.
I imagine Kai'Sa probably would have really liked it, but that's fine.
That's a lot of sparkles, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you necessarily need it?
With how ShowMaker's been playing this tournament, give him all of the buffs. Give him absolutely everything. They are going to do exactly that, as he now has Baron, Blue, and Red encircling him. And once we kill this Ocean Drake, there's a possibility that they could get towards an Elder if they would like. That being said, if we're talking about Elder timings and things like that, I feel like Mad are in a pretty good spot, because this comp might have come online just enough. BeryL in the area, but Khan absolutely not. You can see ShowMaker still making his way around as well, and man, we are still walking this tightrope. It's still feeling so close, despite the fact that a Baron was got for nothing, or just for a kill onto Carzzy.
And I think the key
still doesn't feel like enough.
The key thing here is that with the automatic prio that you get from Baron, it's making it so much harder for Mad Lions to actually contest this Drake, and they can't give this one up. On the other hand, DWG KIA, they might just say, sure, go for the Ocean Drake, we don't care.
It's also 40 seconds away, and they've got a minion wave and 2 siege minions heading towards this inhibitor turret. And yeah, Mad, you can see they're backing. They realize the misstep that they made, as DWG KIA will just take this one for free, and that's going to mean that another wave... Oh, okay, no, the inhibitor is going to stay alive for now. Dark Binding was pivotal there. Onto the Udyr to stop him from being able to get on forward, as now he's going to take a snooze, which is suboptimal. Down to half health here as another Dark Binding's going to land. The disengage here from DWG KIA has been great. Black Shield also brilliant as Kaiser now caught with his pants down. He's going to be taken out of this one. Second kill onto Carzzy as well, and now the doom is setting in for the Mad Lions as in goes Ghost to execute Humanoid. And in the blink of an eye, I think this game's over.
It might just well be that the wave is coming, Canyon is picking it up, and no one is alive that can actually wave clear. And this is the most DWG KIA game I've seen them play this entire tournament. It feels on a knife's edge. They win one fight, and your base is gone.
Yeah. No, the game was so incredibly slow. Incremental advantages looked for the entire game long. DWG KIA could barely even find them a lot of the time, but in the end, they get the keys to the kingdom and they will break down the Mad Lions Nexus. Second place, going over to DWG KIA. Scoreline equal with that of RNG after the PSG upset. This Rumble stage is very, very interesting, but man, Mad Lions, you understood their game plan. They were so patient, but in the end, it was found by DWG KIA, and it shows that they've still got it, Chronicler. And I think that a lot of people are correct in saying that DWG KIA are not the team that we were expecting coming here to MSI, but they take a well-deserved bow here. Only dropping one game to RNG, I think, is something that they can be very happy with, based on how RNG looked, especially considering the fact that RNG did the same thing. They dropped a game as well.
And on the other hand, for Mad Lions, this is a game that you look at, and I still think they played to their win conditions really well. With the draft that they went for, they kind of opted into, okay, we're gonna let DWG do their thing. I don't think you can really, especially with that draft, expect this DWG to show up. Because like I said, we haven't seen this the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Right? There was one little oopsie from BeryL, but outside of that, very clean, very controlled from start to end.
And it also was probably one of the best Sett games that we've seen so far this tournament. And BeryL was one of the people that was telling us maybe we shouldn't be picking Sett, and it worked out very, very well. But after the break, we'll tell you all about the DWG KIA win and hear from BeryL, so be sure to stick around.
Dear me, I just wanted to tell you that soon, everything you know will change. You're part of the breakout, part of an elite group of individuals that launched a global movement. The pioneers that changed the sole definition of a gamer. I'm you, from the future. And I just wanted to tell you that your future will be legendary. Exceed the game, unleash the future.
Baby, you look mighty fine. I figured I might come your way and roll up on you with that gold. Smell irresistible. The new Axe Effect.
And welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. Although this time we're not at the desk, we're sitting down on our floating island that moves around the set. And DWG KIA, they came out victorious against Mad Lions. They are now tied with RNG in first place. That means Mad Lions and PSG Talent are now tied in third place. And frankly, I'm disappointed in the Mad Lions. This team can and should have played better.
It was a very slow game, wasn't it? We didn't see too much action. It was more around team fights. And I think that if you look at the composition holistically, you have the same thing that we were talking about in Countdown, which was basically the fact that DWG's playing this aggressive, winning lane style, winning jungle matchup in a sense, and then playing to your individual solo laners to get them ahead, which gets you natural advantages. Whereas Mad Lions have drafted this full team fight comp with the Shen to defend the plays on bot side, and the Tristana has the reliability as the carry to go in. But Carzzy kind of fell behind in lane. The lane phase wasn't very good for Mad Lions in the early game.
All right, we cannot hear Raz right now. I will wait to find out. So give me a brief pause there, Raz, until we can work through the audio issues. And I mean, let's just expand on that early game just a little bit. Well, Elyoya was able to find an early impact on that Udyr, but then after that, it fell apart and it felt like repeated ganks and teleports from DWG just was able to punish Mad more.
Yeah, I think the reason that the game slowed down to me was because of the Shen ultimate. I think maybe DWG hasn't played against the Shen just yet, and they were afraid to just overextend for these bot plays, but their bot lane was at a natural advantage because they were winning out on the 2v2. And then for from there, if they just played around the Shen ult and respected it, they didn't really overcommit into fights. And then when it came to team fights, it felt like Mad Lions were having to use spells before the fight started.
I mean, we've got a replay of this. Bring this one
Okay.
up now while we're working on getting Raz back. But it's going to be this dragon fight. And honestly, when I saw this dragon fight, Caedrel, I threw my hands in the air and I went, it's done. Damwon are going to win.
Yeah, BeryL kind of went too deep, so I thought the fight was in a good state for them, but you can see the amount of poke coming out from Damwon with the Zoe. If Lee Sin hits a Q, he can just instantly go in. Ghost makes a mistake, I have to admit, but ShowMaker's kind of zoning away the bot lane of Mad Lions, and from there it's just a 4v3 on the opposite side towards the blue buff entrance. Khan makes the first kill onto Armut, and then they can just start to walk forwards, and from there they get the Ocean Dragons, and then Mad Lions eventually are forced to fight the Ocean Soul, where they eventually lost the game.
Well, Raz, I think we've got you back. How do you feel about the game?
Yep. I mean, like, for me, it's, I think, you know, already mentioned it. It was definitely very difficult for Carzzy in that specific fight to, like, be able to link back with his team when he was already isolated. Armut actually had to put himself in a position to bridge him back in so he comes in the safe way. And even then, it's just Morgana, Zoe, like I was saying before, you know, before the mute came through, and Lee Sin. It's just a very safe composition. It's very difficult to get an engage point off of with, like, the Nautilus. So that is what I was looking at with this game.
Yeah, and just look at the amount of outplay potential that comp of Damwon has, right? With Zoe, with Lee Sin, with Morgana, and things
With
like
Sett as well.
With the Kai'Sa Sett, you have so much outplay potential, individual skirmishing potential in the early to mid game, whereas Mad Lions don't really have much to work with, barring just a Shen ultimate to play defensively and Carzzy on the Tristana, who already fell behind.
It's also predictable, isn't it? You also know the play pattern. Like, whenever you see a Shen in the game, you know where that stand United is going to get used. So it gives you a lot of information, adds Damwon to play around.
And that's the definition of an outplay champion, right? Things like a Kali, Lee Sin, they're hard to read because they have many different variables that they can choose. But one-dimensional champions like Shen, obviously, it's very easy to read what they're going to do and outplay it in a sense. And I think that's what kind of the Eastern teams are drafting towards, Damwon and RNG, these outplay potential champions. Lucian, Sylas, Zoe, and then things in the top lane like the Lee Sin and Lucian as well. So that's just an interesting meta shift that I've seen.
I also think I'm getting a little bit more scared of BeryL's Sett. I've seen some mixed performances, obviously, right, from the group stage, but he is a pretty high-impact champion. We're not seeing too many people playing it out, and I think we're actually talking about that during Countdown as well. Let's move on to the Drive to Victory presented by Mercedes-Benz. It is the final fight for Damwon KIA, and honestly, Damwon just built up such a massive advantage. They got themselves several dragons. Raz, I'm going to throw this one to you, because they've already got the Baron, looks like, in the pushing bottom lane.
But the setup for this was incredible to begin with, and they were fighting into their own vision. Just think of this. Morgana shield instantly on the pick because he sees that Kaiser is going for it, and so that was just well done from Canyon. Really difficult fight because, as I said earlier, the setup was Mad Lions got caught trying to push through mid when they already had, Damwon had a pushing lave in the bot side of the map, and they had vision completely of the blue side jungle. And so it felt like Mad Lions were really desperate in that situation to get something going.
Very quick before I bring up the standings, or as the standings come up, closing thoughts.
Just fantastic play from Damwon. They read the Ocean Soul play, they negated Mad Lions mid push, went to another lane, and then baited them into a fight.
And of course, because of that win, it now means Damwon KIA are tied at 4 wins, 1 loss, with Royal Never Give Up in first. Mad Lions and Talon tied at 3 and 2. The first round robin is completed. There are 15 games remaining. And obviously, if you are a Cloud9 fan, the fact that Talon have picked up that win above them is scary, but they are 2 wins behind the pack. If they are able to pick up a win against Damwon KIA at the end of the day, well, then all of a sudden, this entire bracket is just popped wide open.
Yeah, Mad Lions could be in danger as well. They have to be careful not to fall into this pit with Cloud9 PSG.
I do believe we have an interview ready. It is Dash standing by with BeryL.
Thank you very much. Quickshot. I'm here with BeryL after a victory over Mad Lions to push the team to 4-1 when it comes to the first round robin of the Rumble stage. So congratulations on that, BeryL. But I do want to know that as Damwon KIA came in as one of the favorites at the tournament, how you evaluate the team's performance so far.
네, 우선은 럼블 스테이지 4승 1패로 1라운드 마무리하셨는데요. 사실 담원 기아가 토너먼트 이전부터 강력한 우승 후보라고 평가를 받아왔잖아요. 이를 고려해봤을 때 지금까지 담원 기아의 경기력을 어떻게 평가하시나요?
확실히 저희가 결승전 때랑 이제 패치가 좀 바뀌면서 좀 인참에 좀 찾아가는 그런 게 많았어가지고 아직은 좀 더 그런 단계인 것 같고 제가 이제 이번 MSI 때 좀 개인적인 실수가 너무 많아가지고 이것만 좀 더 고치고 팀적인 움직임만 좀 해주면 그래도 좀 우승은 확정 아니고 그래도 우승에 이제 한 걸음 다가가는 이제 그런 게 되지 않을까 싶어요.
So I'm pretty sure that after the LCK finals, there were a lot of changes due to new patch. So we took some time to figure out what is like good or bad. And I think we are still in the middle of that process. And in addition to that, I think I personally made some mistakes in game as well. So if I can focus up and also make a good team play, I think I'm not saying that we will take the trophy, but I want to say that will be a huge kind of step forward close to the finals and also title.
Well, I want to talk about some of your main competition in RNG. It is the only team that you've lost the game to here in the Rumble stage, but you'll have another opportunity to play them a little bit later on in the coming days. What do you evaluate, or what do you think is the thing that needs to change most for Dom1 to be able to take down RNG next time around?
그러면 이제 RNG 전에 대해서 좀 여쭤보고 싶은데요. 지금 럼블 스테이지에서 유일하게 패배를 기록한 경기였고 이제 또 좀 있으면 조금 리매치의 기회가 있잖아요. 이제 RNG 전을 다시 갈 때 어떤 점을 조금 보완하고 다만 기아가 어떤 점을 좀 고쳐야 좀 승리를 가져올 수 있을까요?
이제 RNG가 이제 LPL 리그에서도 그렇고 결승에서도 그렇고 보통 이제 라인전을 이렇게 굴리다기보다 이제 팀 합으로 이제 굴려서 이제 중후반 운영 한타 이런 걸로 이기는 팀인데 이제 저희도 그 1라운드 때 졌을 때는 이제 라인전이 밀린 게 아니고 이제 중후반 후반 운영 갔을 때 실수가 좀 잦아가서 진 걸로 알고 있어가지고 아마 그런 걸 좀 보완하고 고쳐서 하면 이제 다시 만났을 때 좀 할만하지 않을까 싶어요.
So based on what I saw from them in the LPL and also the finals, Orange is not a team that win based off of the lane priority. They're not like win lane, win game kind of a team. They're more like a team that comes back with their teamwork in the mid to late game, kind of macro play. So I think in that game where we lost, I think we made a lot of mistakes in the mid to the late game. We were really bad at macro plays and map plays. So I think if we can clean up those issues around our late game kind of macro mistakes, I think we will be able to possibly get the win.
Well, definitely looking forward to that rematch. Now I want to talk about you a little bit personally in the context of the entire tournament. Today at the beginning of the show, our analyst desk was talking about which position was the most stacked in the tournament, and they began talking about the support position, you being one of those players. I'm curious what you think of the competition that you have ahead of you here in the tournament and where you think you stack up in the ranking.
네, 이제 조금 베릴 선수에 대한 질문을 드리고 싶은데요. 오늘 경기 시작 전에 분석 데스크에서 이제 MSI에서 가장 조금 실력이 좋은 선수들이 빽빽하게 모여 있는 포지션이 어디인가에 대한 이야기가 나왔을 때 이제 베릴 선수가 있는 서포터 얘기가 거론이 많이 되었고 베릴 선수도 거론이 되었습니다. 그래서 베릴 선수는 지금 대회 서포터 경쟁력에 있어서 어느 정도 있다고 생각하시는지 본인이 그럼 그 서포터들 중에 어느 정도에 위치했다고 생각하시나요?
이제 보통 이런 경우가 별로 없거든요. 보통 이제 서포터가 좀 이제 그 대회에서 이제 좀 빡빡하다는 이런 게 전 아마 처음인 것 같은데 저는 아직 좀 제가 생각했을 때 많이 부족하다고 생각하고 그런 걸 좀 고치고 이제 보완하는 단계라고 생각해서 저는 제 스스로 순위를 매기면 아마 좀 아래 있지 않을까 싶어요.
So I think this is the first time that I've ever seen actually support role kind of labeled as a stacked role in a tournament. So it's really impressive. But for me right now, I think I've been performing not really well, and I think I've made some mistakes. So I think I'm in the middle of the process of improving myself. So I would like to say I'm in the bottom of the support role.
Oh my goodness. I think many people might beg to differ, but I look forward then to seeing you in top form. BeryL, congratulations on the victory here today. Thank you for taking the time. From here, we're going to throw to a quick break. When we come back, it's Pentanet GG versus RNG.